When this war is won, when the darkness is banished from our midst, you will depart from my timeline. I will not suffer the burden of your presence any longer. This world is mine to safeguard, mine to protect, and I will not have it tainted by the shadows of your existence. So heed my words, my fellow Vanjikis, for I speak not out of malice, but out of necessity. Our paths may have crossed in this tumultuous time, but they shall diverge once more, never to intertwine again. End audio log. I know some are upset at the choice of our fellow Vanjik. But he's right, this is his timeline. We are technically invaders, only saved by the fact our invasion was a necessity in this time. But we cannot dwell on yesterday's problem. Today we now have a new focus. The imposter has returned and we don't know what his aim is this time. Or rather, we don't even know if he has an aim. We have not only secured our individual timelines, we have also been engaging in foreign timelines, bringing control back to humanity. No one in any timeline from here or abroad stand a ghost of a chance of raising an army against mankind. No, not ever again. Our history of our individual timelines is ours to protect, and to those who seek to alter history and send time out of sync, we will end you. And the imposter knows this. I see now he was only playing the vampires like a fiddle. He used them to give himself a chance to come back. He manipulated the war between us and the vampires to cause another calamity event. Also, he can come back in this phantom-like state. Or perhaps this entire series of events was always in his control. The vampires throughout the whole war were always disjointed, although we are clearly the superior force. The vampires should have had a massive advantage in several departments. Yet we had them on the back foot the entire time. Ever since we discovered that stolen call sign. Did the imposter orchestrate the call sign into our father's hand, all so he could come back? I feel like I'm going in circles. That whole war in retrospect never made sense in the first place. It's like we were drawn and led there just to fulfill that singular event, the return of the imposter. For now, however, I fear all we can do is sit and wait. There's no bright shining battlefield. No city to play spies in. And there's no enemy on the horizon. But my mind will never stop wondering. What's his end goal this time? But part of me fears the power we have accumulated. By nature and design, the Vanjikis are never supposed to take the lead. We were always meant to deal with conflicts in our individual timelines, then disappear with the rising sun. Although we had to, we were never meant to hold power on this scale. Very few Vanjikis operate by themselves nowadays. I'd argue 90% of the Vanjikis have organized. The rest are rouges who seek harm on others, or lone wolves who don't want any overreach. And I can't deny I'm starting to fear that overreach. I understand the necessity, even I took part in the recent war, but we were never meant to be a government. We are not meant to invade the multiverse at large. Yet we did do just that, didn't we? We freed a nation, but at what cost? The Vanjikis, while thoroughly believing in humanity's natural superiority, have always been harbingers for the natural order of our individual timelines. And yet we invaded, and even I took part in separating that timelines dominate species from their home. We fight for humanity, yet we didn't unite it. We separated it further. Those vampires, although cruel, were still spin-offs of mankind. We figured they would stop like the rest, We come in, preach of humanity's greatest achievements regardless of the good or evil, speak of all the things the Vanjikis will never fear, and give the nightmares a reason to be afraid of the night. But these spin-offs of mankind never once stoked, they never once falter, even after detonating an atom bomb. Humanity's great feat of warfare. They still kept coming. They were still so certain that the world in question was theirs. Cruel by nature, slavers by choice, monsters who craved flesh and blood. Yet they were still mankind. I don't feel sympathy for the monsters we killed. I feel sympathy for a world that doesn't know peace, and we did not introduce it by any means. I think back to the simple times, back when I was just an orphan with a gun. I still think back to that building and its sister location, and all the times I had to stop the man behind the slaughter. All for that world to go to ruin in the war against the imposter. The same imposter I put a bullet in. I couldn't have imagined that 12-year-old doing what I have just done. I imagine he would have called wrong, or maybe he would have just loaded his gun and went in. He'll never know. But I know this much. Trends in history tend to repeat. That goes true for all our timelines. We have witnessed repeating civil wars and countless world wars. All at the behest of a government who wants a leg up. And we can't deny the fact we all clearly want a leg up. And it doesn't matter the mindset, even in the greatest of nations. Things such as manifest destiny, will always guarantee someone suffers. And us Vanjikis have very clearly gone down said path. I don't aim to convince anyone to stop caring about the multiverse. I aim to warn you that a day will come when we are no longer the good guys. There are only so many monsters we can slay, only so many worlds we may interfere in. Before favor no longer ponders us. How many times do we intervene before we become the very machine that we aim to stop? Now, we wait. No battles to fight, no enemies on the horizon, just an uneasy peace and the gnawing uncertainty of the imposter's next move. And yet somehow I know he has already made his next move. We just haven't seen it yet, and I just know it won't be long till we see its effects. End audio log.